Whoever you are and however you fit into the life of City Road, things need to happen behind the scenes just to keep everything flowing. Down there, hidden from view, there are the water pipes and sewers too.
It's a big brick sewer here. It's about 1 metre by 600 millimetres. It's sort of oval shape, and that will pick up all the drainage from the local area and take it out to the treatment works at Cardiff.
Is there any alligators down there?
We find a variety of strange things. I don't think we've ever found an alligator. We found 13 televisions once shoved down a manhole. One of our biggest problems is fat in the sewer. People, small businesses, chip shops, whoever, who dispose of fat down sewers, that congeals and that blocks. It's not very nice, it's not very pleasant to look at, and it causes huge problems. It'll cause the sewers to back up and flood.
There's also the electrics.
About stuff like sort of street lights.
Street lights that come off a single-phase 240-volt supply.
We're at 240?
Yeah.
That's the same as a light in the house?
Yes, absolutely. Those street lights are surprising. They're probably only about 80 watt. Our supply will come into a box like that.
Yeah.
Or it'll go directly into the column.
Right,
yeah.
OK.
Yes, there's lots of things in the ground, but you don't know what that is.
I imagine that's a cellar for the barrels.
Well done.
Yeah, I know that one. So that's, that has to be phones, doesn't it?
Yeah, BT.
BT phones.
Well, GPO, as people used to call them.
Yeah, GPO, whatever happened to them. This, presumably that's for TV, cable TV.
Cable TV.
Right, OK, networks. What else we got over here?
Water.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, it's like next to the stop tap.
Yeah, convenient water by there as well. God, there's an awful lot of these things.
Yeah, oh, you're getting good at them. No, you're not far off.
It's 6 in the morning and the council's commercial waste teams are out on City Road clearing the rubbish before most of us are up and about.
The worst days of the weekend because it seems like, because this is student town, we call it student village, because so all the students are off on a Friday and Saturday and they all go out having their takeaways and then it produces more waste.
For most of us, the street is a place to shop, but for others it's their workplace. It's where they work all the time. Someone has to lay the cables, someone has to clean the drains, take the fat out. Someone has to take away last night's waste. It's what goes on behind the scenes. It's the kind of things that most of us take for granted all the time, until things go wrong. It's what makes the street, on it, above it, below it, and our lives too.
On City Road, we've got your general black waste. You've got commercial waste, which is orange bags, what we collect. You've got recycling, and then you've got the food waste lorry as well.
It's now 4 p.m. on City Road and the commercial recycling boys are out loading up the bags of paper, card, metal and glass. The problem is, it's a lively time of the day.
Sometimes it's the motorists that can be a pain. Because we've got a job to do. You know, they see us coming down the road, this speed. Now, why aren't they going a bit quicker? Why aren't they going faster?
We pay you taxes, we pay them taxes. Every time they charge you for tax, look, has this been swept every day? Does it look like something that's been swept every day? Look, every time I cycle, punch it every time because the council never sweeps the floor. Broken glasses constantly, all the time.
That's what we get as well. It's all our fault.
At the end of the round, the waste is driven 3 miles down the road to a large landfill site. But the council's also trying to reduce landfill by encouraging us all to recycle.
on City Road 20 years ago, they wouldn't have been doing any or very, very little recycling. It would have been very basic stuff like glass bottles and card. But due to changes in legislation, this has increased probably up to around about 50% because European law is directing us to go that way.
What we see here is the impact of European Union legislation on the life of the street. And that's an important point for social scientists because it says we can never just treat the street in isolation. It is connected through processes like legislation, like government, to institutions apparently a long way away, but nevertheless have a profound impact on shaping the life of the street itself. And for social scientists, that's a question about forms of connection. What are the processes and relationships that connect one place to another? And it's about the sorts of patterns and orders that emerge as a consequence of things like legislation and government.
A huge number of people use City Road for various reasons. It attracts, you know, the young, the old, kind of people from various nations and cultures and races, and this is reflected in the nature of the businesses that are open here. For example, we have here, allegedly, the largest sari showroom in the whole of Wales.
She's my auntie and my dad's
Okay.
business.
It's a real family business.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So this section we have all the fabrics, different materials, cotton, silk,
lovely.
cotton, silk if you want to feel that.
So something like this one here they would wear for a wedding when they get married.
Wow, that's quite weighty as well.
Yeah, it weighs about 133 grams.
Wow.
Do you see how much one costs or like a rough price?
Well,
or?
yeah, please tell me.
Well,
so I can
They're all
run
22
away.
karat gold they are.
Okay.
And this one roughly will cost you about...
they're all on weight. They're all
Yeah, sure.
All the gold we do is just basically
about £3,000.
Wow. Well, I know one wife who won't be getting one for Christmas, but they are very beautiful. Have you always been in the business of selling jewellery and fabric?
No, it's before takeaway business.
Oh, okay.
I got takeaway business and then grocery as well. And then I got a few properties as well.
Ah, so a wide portfolio of experience.
yeah.
Some of the overseas traders have been here for years. One of my favourite shops on City Road is Exquisite Africa.
Hello. Very nice.
And
too.
here we have what they call human hair.
Okay.
But we added to the extension, trying to mimic you, imitate you, so to say.
That's the weaves, is it?
Yeah,
Is
this had the weaves,
Yeah.
which we use it to add to our hair, make it long and make us pretty.
You
As if
don't. You
we are-
don't need more hair to be
No,
pretty.
we don't. We are pretty like that, but we just like change, variety.
Yeah. So is the majority of your products imported? Yeah.
Yes, these are made usually from China.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And this is for the plaits that we do, as
Yeah.
you've seen them always with this kind of thing. Some of them I brought from Ghana. This is made in Ghana. I try to bring things from Africa.
Yeah,
which
sure.
Again to help with the economy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I've got here some of the fabric.
Lovely.
This is the Ghanaians call it the kente cloth, two different varieties. Which the original one is hand woven and is used for special occasions. But now, because of machine, anyone can have one.
Sure.
But if you want the original, I have.
Okay, you have the originals as well.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And this all handmade pencil case for made in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso. So I try and bring various things from Africa.
All kinds of different countries.
Yes, I have held on to my African side. The one reason I've done that, but originally I used to look at it that it's me who has come, and therefore I got to do the changing to fit in. I didn't expect anybody to change for me. I did all the changing. And it went to a point where one day I wake up and I realized I couldn't recognize me. So I said to my husband, I want to go home. And he said, why do you want to go home? And I said, I want to go and charge my battery. It's going flat. And he laughed, but I went home, and it was really weird. I felt the need to go back to Africa after 10 years. And I went, and when I came back, I felt myself again.
The Sari shop and Exquisite Africa are really good examples of the diversity of City Road, and also the diversity of City Road over time. The responses of people who work in these shops are brilliant illustrations to changing times. For example, in the Sari shop, the auntie is a brilliant entrepreneur who has responded particularly well to changing circumstances and to the place in which she finds herself. In the case of Exquisite Africa, it's also about multiple identities. For example, Janet goes back to Africa at one point to recharge her batteries and to rethink about the way in which she has different kinds of identities in her life in City Road.
This street changes all the time, so I'm always on the lookout for new shops and new faces. Newcomers are turning up all the time. Anna Brzezinska arrived from Poland as a student.
Actually, one of the first streets that I came across in Cardiff was City Road, when I had to travel with really heavy suitcases and luggages through City Road, and that was 2005. It was really, really hot. That's why I have quite, not perhaps the most pleasant memories about the street. And I remember we were walking and we just could see a lot of abandoned shops, and it wasn't the most pleasant area, I think.
Anna now sees the positive side. The restaurant scene is booming and she signed the lease on an Arabic food emporium.
Obviously, business people or businessmen acknowledge the fact that there is a potential in the street or in the area to make some money, and so yes, obviously there is something. Comfortables, absolutely.
Yet there's lots of competition.
It's very hard for us to establish, even judging by the bookings, if we're gonna get extremely busy or we're not. I mean, in the past, it used to be that, every weekend was busy and then Thursday was busy. Now, it's just, it's completely different. It's very irregular. To make the restaurant more competitive and keep up to date with our customers, we use all the social media. And in order to do that, we have our old-fashioned laptop, I would say these days already, and then just more mobile things. So I've got my Kindle and mobile phone as well. It's very important. I think people react so well to visual aspects. So whenever there is something happening, I will always grab my phone and take a quick photo and post it on Facebook or Twitter. Thank you very much.
Anna provides insight into how different groups of migrants have always contributed to making and remaking the street. And with her story, we see how new migrants are bringing new skills, new energies, different perspectives, different cultures, which all go into this continual making and remaking of the street.
For some local residents, like the members of the municipal club, the changes in the area have been hard to cope with.
Do you think a club has a future then?
No.
Really, after 100 years at street?
I think it's going down. All these old clubs, they don't want to know them no more. And the memberships don't want to know them. Like we used to have darts, used to have crib. There's nothing like that now. The only thing is the skittles, that's all.
And that's in the league, is it?
There's about 5 teams in the league in here, women and men, But I don't think there's any future.
We used to have 3 football teams in here, and then over the years, people got older and packed it in, and it went down to 2, then down to 1.
Right.
Then we had to fold up then because we never had enough players. And where it used to be, you come in here on in the old bar on a Friday night,
yeah,
you'd have to be in here by 6:30 because you wouldn't get a game of cards, and that's all night. And that's how popular the municipal was.
What sort of changes have you seen on City Road then? Is this safer these days?
No, it's not safer. You walk top of City Road in the night, you're afraid to walk up it.
Is it? I wouldn't walk.
I'd look up and I don't live up that end. I live down this. I live at the back street.
Oh,
my aunt saw me do.
Yeah.
At the back way off it.
Right.
But it's hundreds up there on the weekend.
Right.
Just waiting to explode.
It used to be a road you could walk up day or night and you wouldn't be afraid or nothing like, you know, today I wouldn't. My girl now, she comes down and she gets a taxi home. It's only 300 metres up the road.
Yeah.
She has to get a taxi home.
Blimey.
This is a story about nostalgia and about anxiety. And as things change, people look back with rose-tinted glasses to what happened in the past. This is a story about the white male working class who feel that things have changed and look back longingly to a time when things were better. It's also a story about change and some of the disconnections when people feel anxiety about change. When they look back at the good times in the municipal club, they feel that where they once belonged, they no longer belong. And this is one of the ways in which there are cultural inequalities at times of change.
At night, City Road is transformed with its takeaways open all hours. The area's a magnet for young people.
Were you from Cardiff, yeah?
I'm not. Yeah.
No, where are you from?
I'm from Nottingham.
Nottingham, how come you're down here?
My mum got a flat up here, so I came to come live with her.
Oh, right. And Con, how long you been here?
Since February.
Oh, all right. How'd you find it, all right?
I prefer it. It's more friendly.
Is it, yeah?
Definitely.
Oh, that's good news. How did you all meet up then?
She just came up to us one day. She was like, "You kind of look like me. I have no friends. Hello."
Because you're new here. What's your take on City Road?
Honestly.
Yeah, honestly.
I don't like coming down here at night. But I'm like that anyway, because it's dead rough, isn't it?
You are?
It's dead rough.
You reckon?
Yeah. I've not seen anything, just it is. It reminds me of Nottingham, this bit does.
Okay.
Apart from that, it's fine.
So it's kind of more of a feeling rather than anything you've seen, like.
The pool hall is a really interesting space where it was traditionally a male space playing pool, and this is now shown in the film as a place where a young woman comes to enjoy some leisure activity and to feel safe. It's a new sense of belonging in the pool hall where young people are actually enjoying themselves. But there is a tension between this space and the outside, and the young woman does express anxieties about feeling insecure and not belonging on the street outside. So it's a mixture of being connected and being disconnected, but it's a way of people making a new sense of belonging within the space with what's available.
Clearly, all streets are unique. They have their own distinctive social mix. But places like City Road have much in common with streets elsewhere in the UK. They've experienced the same set of changes over the last 20 or 30 years. And in that sense, streets are like a microcosm of larger changes that are happening in the UK at large. And it's those changes that particularly interest us as social scientists.